Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you one of my favorite childhood dishes that we make here so much and during the hot months, and it's my tuna pasta salad. There's no mayo involved, so it's got a lot of flavor going on, and it's just really easy, and I want to share it with you, so I'm really excited. And let me take you over the ingredients so we can get started. You'll need some finely chopped red onion. I've got some grape tomatoes that I've halved and some that I've quartered. I've got some chopped pitted Kalamata olives, fresh parsley, some arugula. You'll need the shortcut pasta of your choice. I'm using bow tie because that's what I like. Then I've got a tuna steak here, which I'll talk about in a minute. I also have some lemon in here, some garlic, peppercorns, additional parsley, and you need additional lemon, olive oil, salt and pepper, extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper. That's it. Now, truth be told, when I was growing up, my mom and even I very often make this dish using really good quality, like Italian tuna that's canned in olive oil. That's the only tuna I really use. But for special occasions and when I can get my hands on a really nice tuna steak, I like to get the tuna steak, poach it, and then flake it in there. It just kind of elevates the dish a little tiny bit, and it makes it a little touch, I guess a touch more special, if you would. But you can use absolutely canned tuna and it would be fabulous. But I wanted to poach a tuna steak today just to show you how you can take it and make it a tad more special, perfect for if you're having like maybe a lunch or something and you're inviting people over and you wanted to make this but you wanted to seem a little bit fancier, then you use a tuna steak. Now what I have here is some water coming up to a simmer, and in that water I'm going to add my lemon. I'm just going to slightly squeeze that, and then I'm going to add parsley, and this is for the poaching liquid for the tuna. Peppercorns. We're going to need to add some salt, and then we're going to need to add just a small drizzle of olive oil. I'm going to let that come to a simmer. It'll take just a few more minutes, and in the meantime, make sure that you get a big pot, fill it with water, generous sprinkling of salt, and bring that to a boil. Well, that's coming to a boil and this is coming to a simmer. We are just going to toss together our ingredients, which I already have chopped just to make life a little bit easier. But I am going to take my arugula and give this a fine chop as well, so that I can run through the salad a bit easier, almost like an herb, almost like the parsley, but just a bit more peppery, and it gets, it's got a bit more attitude, I guess you could say. I'm just going to add that in there. And now we're going to dress it really simply with olive oil, salt, and pepper. Now, these are the flavors I grew up eating, so by all means, you can add any vegetable you want in here. This is just what I'm adding because that's what I'm used to eating. So let's just season this a bit with some salt and pepper, and then we'll add in the squeeze. I'm going to use a whole lemon, start with half, and go from there. If you like things as lemony as I do, then add the whole thing. But if you don't, just start with half, taste it, and then go from there. I'm just going to give this a toss in 1 minute. I'm going to set this aside, and my poaching liquid is up to a good simmer. I'm going to take my tuna steak, which is so beautiful. I'm going to plop that in there, and I'm going to let this poach for about 10 to 15 minutes or until it flakes beautifully. In about 5 minutes, so when this has a good maybe 10 minutes left, 8 or 9 minutes maybe, I'm going to add my pasta to the boiling water. I don't want to add it now because then otherwise it'll be done, which doesn't really matter because we're gonna rinse it under cold water to stop it from cooking anyway. So, but just being a little bit precautious, I want things to get done at the same time. I'm going to just toss this together, and I did decide to go for a rough chop on my arugula. I meant to say my parsley is a bit more finely chopped, but I'm going to leave my arugula a bit more coarse. Okay, that looks magnificent and smells even better. I'm going to keep my eye on this baby and let that poach beautifully. Add my pasta to the boiling water, and then I'm going to drain it, and then I'll meet you back here when this is done and the pasta's cooked. My pasta cooked for about 9 minutes, and then I drained it and rinsed it really well under cold water to stop it from cooking further. And I took my tuna steak out of the poaching liquid, which had the lemon, peppercorns, and I did have some garlic in there as well. I'm not so sure that I mentioned it. And all I'm doing right now is just kind of flaking it apart with my forks, which it's just really easy to do. And I like to leave some larger chunks in there. I don't like to kind of mush it all up into a paste. I like to leave it pretty nice and chunky. And I tasted the tuna steak. It's beautifully seasoned. I tasted the pasta. It's lovely, and just perfectly salted. We have the dressing here that's salted, so we are in business. You want to make sure every layer of your dish is individually seasoned so that when you bring it all together and you're taking a bite, it's not like you have the pasta that's really salted and everything else is bland, because you will tell a difference. I can guarantee you that. And all I'm doing now is just carefully mixing this all up and giving it a stir. You can see the tuna is really lovely and it's in large chunks. Some are smaller, some are bigger, but you'll be able to see the tuna. And by all means, guess what? If you don't want to use tuna at all, great veggie pasta salad as is. You don't have to add the tuna, add extra veggies. But this is very, very standard for me, something I grew up eating, so this is kind of how I always make it. Sometimes I'll use green onions instead of red onions, but I prefer the red onions. I'm just going to give this a taste because my mouth is salivating now. Let me get the tuna, the pasta, tomato. That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. You could serve it as is right now and it would be delicious. But do what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cover this and pop it in the fridge for 20 minutes and then it'll be perfect. But you can absolutely eat it now. But I think that once it's in the fridge and everything cools down together, all the flavors blend. But that is about it. I hope that you have enjoyed spending time with me recreating this old childhood classic. Let me know some of your childhood classic that you would like to see me recreate. As always, this recipe will be on laurainthekitchen.com and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. I'm just going to give this a toss for about, sorry, I didn't say it, in a, blah! Can't get my words straight today. Can't get my words. Okay, let's go. Come on, this is simmering. Stop making fun of me.